Today, on the 25th of November, Paradox Interactive releases the UK region pack.
Absolutely brilliant! One of the best days of me life.
And it's absolutely massive in comparison to the other two.
2 World Wars and 1 World Cup. England.
But for almost 7 gigabytes, you'll get an insane amount of new stuff and all completely for free. The two creators were the workshop legends for British assets back in the CS1 days, Mark Welshman and Rick 4000, so you'll get some real quality here. It's way too much to show it all to you, but summarized, you'll get 6 new zone types that would be low density detached housing, medium density semi-detached housing, medium density terraced housing, mixed housing, medium density housing and high density housing, and we also have typical British service and signature buildings, and finally the first smaller church. If that sounds amazing, you should definitely get the UK pack now, and I'll show you how you can build a small and cozy British village with a country club nearby, a medium-sized city with a pedestrianised town centre, and a part of a giant metropolis like London or Birmingham with all the new assets.
Okay, let's go.
So at first we are building a small and cozy British village that you'll find all over the UK. Estimates suggest there are around 6,000 to 10,000 villages across the United Kingdom. The count can vary though, because local administrative boundaries, historical definitions and regional classifications differ. But England has the majority of villages due to its larger population and geographical diversity compared to Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. So we have over 6,000 villages. But what do you think? How many golf courses does the UK have? 1,000, 2,500 or 5,000? The UK is home to approximately 2,500 golf courses, making it one of the most densely packed regions for golf in the world. Golf is a hugely popular sport in the UK, with courses ranging from small municipal layouts to prestigious championship venues. Of course, not all villages have a golf course and country club, but I thought it was a fun little addition to the little village build. Are you playing golf? I play mostly another popular export from the UK, and that's darts. It's such a fun game and is especially nice with friends in the evening. We'll also get a lot of pub assets you can place down in the pack, which is very appreciated, but I made a huge mistake while building the 3 different sized cities. I forgot to change the traffic to left-handed. Now, it's not really accurate, but I hope you can forgive me. But now to the build on the screen. I started with a typical road layout. We have one main street and then other streets branch off in different directions. The streets around it are smaller and not for through traffic. Here we'll find the small and medium semi-detached houses of the pack. I tried to pick as many various buildings as possible to show you the big variety the pack has to offer. I'll definitely also use them in my other city building series where we build out one tile per episode, but this one is more North American based, but I think the houses fit in everywhere and can also be used for more wealthy neighborhoods. On the main street we'll find the small town mixed-use buildings that stand closer together. You shouldn't forget roundabouts, of course, and more importantly, don't forget football pitches. They are basically everywhere. Football in the UK is more than a sport. It's a way of life. With a history dating back to the 19th century, it's home to some of the world's oldest clubs and fiercest rivalries, like Manchester United versus Liverpool, or the Old Firm derby between Celtic and Rangers. Fans are deeply passionate, filling stadiums weekly and creating electric atmospheres with classic chants and traditions. Football is woven into communities, uniting people across generations, while also sparking intense regional pride. The English Premier League in particular is a global phenomenon, showcasing the UK's enduring love for the beautiful game. To finish the build, we also have to place a lot of greenery. Britain is one of the greenest countries on earth and also experiences a lot of rainfall. My British friends, can you agree? I obviously used a lot of mods for the build, but I think you can also recreate it with the zoning mechanic. The last touch of detail was a flock of sheep on the pastures, and finished is the small typical British village built in CS2. Now that we've built a small village to show the low density assets of the region pack, it is time for some real city build, as you would typically find in the UK. If something is completely inaccurate, please let me know in the comments. I'm from Germany and had it obviously much easier to recreate German cities than to build stuff from other countries. Of course, not a single city on Earth is the same, but basically all have these distinct features you would find in any city with that particular size. The cities of the United Kingdom are deeply rooted in history, shaped significantly by the Industrial Revolution, the development of railroads, and the widespread construction of terraced housing. These elements combine to define the character and layout of urban areas, leaving a lasting legacy visible in cityscapes today. Prior to the Industrial Revolution in the late 18th and 19th centuries, many UK cities were relatively small market towns, focused on agriculture, trade, and regional governance. The Industrial Revolution transformed this dynamic, turning cities like Manchester, Birmingham, Glasgow, and Leeds into thriving industrial centers. Factories, mills, and workshops powered by steam engines attracted large numbers of workers from rural areas, causing populations to surge dramatically. For example, Manchester grew from a small town to a bustling metropolis, earning its nickname as Cottonopolis for its dominance in textile production. This rapid urbanization led to the development of dense, worker-oriented neighborhoods and laid the groundwork for modern urban planning. The advent of railroads in the 19th century was a turning point for urban development in the UK. Railways revolutionized transportation, connecting cities to each other and to smaller towns, enabling goods and people to move faster and more efficiently. This newfound connectivity encouraged economic growth, expanding the influence of industrial cities and allowing for the development of suburban areas. Major railway stations such as King's Cross and St Pancras in London or Glasgow Central became iconic architectural features of cities. They not only facilitated travel but also influenced the physical layout of urban areas, as rail lines and stations often determined where industries were built and where workers lived. Additionally, railroads enabled cities to expand outward as commuting became more feasible. This marked the beginning of suburbanization, though many industrial workers remained in the dense inner-city neighborhoods close to factories. One of the most distinctive features of UK cities during this period was the rise of terraced housing. These homes were built in rows, sharing side walls, and designed to accommodate the rapidly growing working-class population. They were cost-effective to build, made efficient use of limited space, and were often located near factories, railways, and industrial centers. Terraced houses typically followed a uniform brick design, with narrow frontages and small backyards. While functional, they were often criticized for their cramped conditions and lack of sanitation during the 19th century. Entire neighborhoods of terraced housing, such as the ones in Liverpool or Salford, became synonymous with the working-class communities that powered the industrial economy. Despite their initial association with poverty, many terraced houses have been modernized in recent decades and are now highly sought after for their charm and historical character. This mix of industry, railroads, and terraced housing I try to recreate here in City Skylines, and the new assets are basically perfect for that, especially the terraced housing. But to be completely honest, I miss at least one railway station, but also a proper football stadium, because they have such an important role in the past and present of British cities. But I guess you can't have anything. Other than that, this is of course phenomenal work by the creators, and I can't believe we get all that for free. The last build will be a little cutout from England's most significant metropolis and one of the world's biggest and most dense cities. We are speaking, of course, of London. London is the capital and largest city of both England and the United Kingdom, with a population of almost 9 million people. The broader metropolitan area is the largest in Western Europe, with a population of 14.9 million. London stands on the River Thames in southeast England, at the head of a 50-mile or 80-kilometer estuary, down to the North Sea, and has been a major settlement for nearly 2,000 years. Its ancient core and financial center, the City of London, was founded by the Romans as Londinium and has retained its medieval boundaries. The City of Westminster, to the west of the City of London, has been the centuries-long host of the national government and parliament. London grew rapidly in the 19th century, becoming the world's largest city at the time. Since the 19th century, the name London has referred to the metropolis around the City of London, historically split between the counties of Middlesex, Essex, Surrey, Kent and Hertfordshire, which since 1965 has largely comprised the administrative area of Greater London, governed by 33 local authorities and the Greater London Authority. As one of the world's major global cities, London exerts a strong influence on world art, entertainment, fashion, commerce, finance, education, healthcare, media science, technology, tourism, transport and communication. Despite a post-Brexit exodus of stock listings from the London Stock Exchange, London remains a European economic powerhouse and one of the world's major financial centers. It hosts Europe's largest concentration of higher education institutions, some of which are the highest-ranked academic institutions in the world. It is the most visited city in Europe and has the world's busiest city airport system. The London Underground is also the world's oldest rapid transit system. You see, Greater London is a city of superlatives and is also extremely multicultural. London's diverse cultures encompass over 300 languages. The 2023 population of Greater London of just under 10 million made it Europe's third most populous city, accounting for 13.4% of the United Kingdom's population and over 16% of England's population. But London's dominance in England is both a strength and a challenge. Its economic power and global influence overshadow other regions, leading to significant regional inequalities. Investment, jobs and opportunities are heavily concentrated in London, leaving areas like the North and Midlands underfunded and less developed. The high cost of living in London, including skyrocketing housing prices, makes it unaffordable for many while overcrowding strains infrastructure. Politically, the centralization of power in London can marginalize the needs of other regions. Culturally, London often overshadows other cities, and the focus on its transport and development creates disparities in funding for other areas. The city's draw for talent also causes a brain drain, weakening other regions' growth potential. Efforts like Leveling Up aim to address these imbalances, but a more equitable distribution of resources and investment is needed to ensure the whole country thrives. London is obviously so huge, you can't show everything in this little parcel the city has to offer. So I decided to build a more low-income living area to show also the new high-rise apartment blocks. But we started with building a motorway with the typical roundabout exit. Above it we'll also find a tube line. Railways are basically everywhere in London. That's just crazy to me. Then we built a typical English stadium. Did you know that London is home of currently 7 Premier League clubs as of the 2023-24 season? These teams are Arsenal, Chelsea, Crystal Palace, Fulham, Tottenham Hotspur, West Ham and Brentford. So, London has the highest concentration of Premier League clubs of any city in England, reflecting its strong footballing tradition. These clubs also contribute to some of the league's most intense rivalries, such as Arsenal versus Tottenham, the North London Derby, and Chelsea versus West Ham. Next to the stadium, we'll find more terraced housing. You'll find these all over London too, and they are one of my new favorite assets. On the other side, we're showcasing some more of the high-density housing and a gigantic high school. These new buildings will also definitely find their way into my ongoing city building series, as they are also pretty generic and you can use them in all kinds of themes and builds. I hope you liked the little builds we did here to showcase all of the new and free different buildings we get from the UK pack. I also hope you enjoyed some of the historical background of how villages, cities and the capital city developed over time in Britain. If you did so, I would really appreciate your support with liking or commenting on the video. If you want to support me further, you can check out my Patreon page where you find additional content and access to the save games. I also have an Instagram and TikTok account for the ones of you who enjoy short form content and also a merch shop, all linked below. Now you can watch my latest city building series here or another video that perfectly fits you. Click it now and ciao ciao.